The lost interview tapes, the secret Seraphina Vane was hiding. Hollywood. You think you know it? You see the glamour, the premieres, the billion-dollar smiles. But behind the silver screen, there's a labyrinth of secrets, deals, and truths that are deliberately buried. Narrator. Today, we pull a thread on one of the deepest, most shocking secrets in cinematic history. Hollywood is not what it seems. You already know this, don't you? But what if one of the industry's titans decided to confess everything right on tape? Director Alistair Hayes, the auteur behind box office behemoths like Aether's Echo and The Last Oracle, did just that. He admitted in a lost, forgotten interview those terrifying words, "What happened on that film was not a script." Narrator. The tape was stolen, or perhaps intentionally misplaced, and locked away in a private vault for 3 decades. Why? The answer is simple, yet devastating. Hayes revealed that the star of his biggest hit, Seraphina Vane, was not acting. Narrator. She wasn't performing a role. She was living something else, but what? And what was she truly doing on that set? This is the most shocking truth you will ever hear about the film industry. Narrator. Our story begins not in a studio backlot, but in the dusty, temperature-controlled archives of a defunct production company, Obsidian Films. It was here, in the cold heart of forgotten media, that a young archive assistant named Alara Reyes made the discovery that would threaten to rewrite film history. Alara was tasked with cataloging junk media, outtakes, bloopers, and sound tests, the kind of material nobody ever watches. She was looking for a reel labeled Sound Test Aether's Echo, Day 4. What she found instead was a small, unmarked cassette simply labeled HTX, narrator, Hayes Tape X. That was its only identity. Narrator. Alara recognized Hayes' voice instantly. It was a 1995 interview conducted after the spectacular global success of Aether's Echo. The first 20 minutes were boilerplate, standard industry talk, the usual praise for the crew, the predictable stories about special effects. Alara almost turned it off. But then, precisely at the 21-minute mark, the tone shifts. Hayes, VO, slow, gravelly, and the pressure. The kind of pressure that doesn't come from critics or box office returns. It comes from inside, from the machine itself. Obsidian Films, they don't make movies. They cultivate them. And I was foolish enough to think I was the one holding the pruning shears. Narrator. Hayes, known for his guarded interviews, was suddenly speaking with a disturbing candor. He wasn't talking about creative differences. He was talking about control. But what or who was the machine he mentioned? This was not the part that led to the tape's immediate burial. The true seismic revelation lay further in. Scene 2. The unedited truth narrator. To fully grasp the tension of that moment, we need to understand the language Hayes was using. We need to focus on some key vocabulary that reveals the hidden dynamics of power in his speech. Boilerplate, agile, standard. Unoriginal or formulaic language, often used in official documents or, in this case, a typical interview. Example. His answers were all boilerplate praise for the studio. Candor, noun. The quality of being open and honest. Frankness. Example. Hayes spoke with unusual candor about the studio's pressure. Pruning shears, noun. Tools used for cutting branches, often used metaphorically to mean exercising strict control or cutting away the unwanted. Example. He thought he was in charge, but the studio held the pruning shears. Narrator. Alara Reyes continued listening, her palms sweating against the dusty console. Hayes was moving past general complaints and was now discussing his star, Seraphina Vane. Seraphina was, at the time, the industry's golden child. A breathtaking talent who brought a raw, unedited intensity to the character of Aether in the film. Hayes, VO, tense, slightly defensive. Everyone asked about Seraphina's commitment, her dedication. They called her a method actor's dream. They said she was Aether, and I let them say it. Because to tell the truth, to admit what I witnessed, it would have been professional suicide. Narrator. And then it happened. The moment the interviewer, a seasoned journalist named Dominic Crow, thought the tape had stopped running. Crow asks a final, seemingly innocuous question. So, Alistair, any truth to the rumor that Seraphina was difficult on set? That she pushed the boundaries of the character too far? Hayes, VO, whispering a raw admission. Difficult? No, she was unstable. And the boundaries? Dominic, you need to understand this. She wasn't acting. Not for a single frame of the third act. She was reacting. Everything you saw on screen, the fear, the isolation, the sheer terror, that was real. She was experiencing something that we engineered. Narrator, we engineered. The two most chilling words in the entire confession. The tape confirmed the darkest rumor, the incredible, terrifying performance that won Seraphina Vane her only Golden Star Award was not an act. But if it wasn't acting, what was it? And what exactly did Obsidian Films and Alistair Hayes engineer to create that level of on-screen terror? Narrator. This is where the story shifts from a simple Hollywood gossip item to a case of corporate psychological warfare. Hayes was about to reveal the method behind the madness, the precise technique used by the studio to break down Seraphina's barrier between reality and the role. He took a deep, rattling breath, ready to utter the name of the secret, shadow organization that Obsidian Films was collaborating with. He was about to reveal the truth about her therapy sessions. Narrator. But we cannot tell you what he said yet. The method, the organization, the therapy, these details are too explosive to drop all at once. We need to go back and understand the scope of Obsidian Films' power and how Seraphina Vane became their unsuspecting victim. Narrator. Keep listening. In the next segment, we'll explore the career of Seraphina Vane, the suspicious contracts she signed, and the little-known clause that allowed Obsidian Films to do the unthinkable on the set of Aether's Echo. You'll learn about vocabulary related to corporate contracts and legal deception. Don't go anywhere. You are one step closer to understanding why Alistair Hayes risked everything to leave this final damning message.